Yeah, give us some ASMR.
Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure because last time I connected to this, I thought I was talking through the mic, but it was through my.
I can hear it.
Oh,
Yeah, you're good.
okay.
Ian, we're trying to get started over
I'm
here.
sorry.
Can you get it together?
This is like, I can see it. Okay, let me just take this off because it's bothering me and then I'm good.
Are you ready now?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Chanel,
I'm Anne Marie.
and we're the girls of Room. Oh, bloody hell. I'm
That's
so
not
sorry.
our podcast anymore.
10 years later.
You stop it.
Wait,
And we're the girls of Sweet 15, where you can come to elevate your potential.
Oh wow, we fancied it up for 2024.
Yeah.
I
We're bigger
like
and
that.
better.
Bigger and better. Okay, guys, so just so everyone knows, Chanel was just in New York. We saw each other literally 2 days ago, and before we got onto this call to record, she told me she misses me so deeply, but she is so committed to the podcast that she just hopped off her plane and she's here recording with us today.
Yes. Oh, it feels so weird to be back in Paris. Yeah, but no, I'm back to work tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. And to jump off into 2024, we have our first guest of the year. So we have Ian Flynn, who we met in South Africa this past year or last year now. So we'll get into a little bit more about like how we met and everything. So Ian is a content creator and photographer, and he creates content for Plant House, which is a plant shop and terrarium workshop. And Ian, you could like tell us a little bit more about yourself.
But first, we want to know what your dream job was as a child.
Ooh, that's a good question. Um, I used to actually want to be a teacher.
A teacher?
Yeah, I
Did you
know.
want to teach about plants?
No, not at all. It was not even a concept back then. More so just like kids, because I used to like to write. Like I want to be an author too. I wanted to be like an author, a teacher, never like a policeman or stuff like firefighters like they always is.
Yeah.
But
Doesn't
I've
like
always
authority.
no. But I have always been into photography, so I've always wanted to be some form of photography. It's just kind of like progressed over the years.
Okay, nice. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, like what you're currently doing, what things you're like currently into. What makes you Ian Flynn?
Well, aside from the photography, as you said, work at Plant House, so that's kind of my life right now. I work in the shop, helping people with plants. I teach workshops, so part of that childhood dream being a teacher kind of came to fruition. Um, but yeah, I also work in their marketing department too, where I do event coordination and I help with that content as well. But yeah, I just spend my days trying to plan the next trip as soon as possible because that's really my ultimate goal is to travel and take photos like for a living. That'd be amazing.
Oh, that's amazing. And that's perfect because it jumps into like the next question, which is pretty much like us meeting in South Africa. Um, I know like what our first impressions of you were, but I want you to tell us like what your first impressions of me and Emery were.
I like that. I didn't know you were gonna ask this. This is a good question.
Ooh, man, do you want the truth?
Yes, the truth.
No, y'all were pretty cool. We had a good vibe. I know we met on my birthday night.
Okay. So
Yeah, because I was trying to get a group together, and then I know Roger had mentioned the Long Beach backpackers or Long Beach, definitely different country. Long Street Backpackers channel asking or saying that everyone was going to Trenchtown, so jump on that bandwagon, and that's when I met y'all. Um, I would say yeah, definitely a good first impression because like we talked about travel, we had the same views essentially on just like America and just like travel in general. Not necessarily politics and stuff like that, but just like their overall same like open mind mindset. So yeah, I like that both of y'all have such a great like pizzazz to you. Like you're approachable, and definitely from the couple weeks that we spent together, a good time, a good vibe, and yeah, some trustworthy people. I'd say that.
Oh, we just want to hear compliments,
Oh
honestly.
yeah, yeah. Just
That's
gave you
what we
a
want to
whole book full. There you go.
You know, it's so funny because I feel like with Ian, I remember meeting him and I don't know, I feel like he had such a strong first impression to me. But I feel like it was just because we thought you had been there for like ages. Like I remember you had been sitting across from us at the table and you were sitting with another girl and we thought you guys had come together. Like we thought you had been best friends for years. Like we
I
didn't know what was
swear,
going on.
yeah.
And when I first saw Ian, I thought he was a little bit unapproachable. Like I was like, I feel like this guy's gonna be a jerk. And then Chanel kept talking to him, and I was like, Chanel, I don't know about this one. Because as everybody knows in our friendship, I'm usually the gatekeeper. So if I don't like someone, they don't make the cut, right, Chanel?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I guess I am the more approachable one. I'm the one that would probably do like the talking and stuff and
Yeah,
like feel
yeah.
out the person. So usually it's Emery that makes the cut. That's like, ah, this person's a good person or a bad person. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
we, yeah.
But then when we
Yep.
started talking to Ian, I was like, oh, he's kind of cool. He's got some good viewpoints. I didn't know he was American. I thought he was like, I thought he might be
We didn't
Arab,
know.
Middle
Yeah,
Eastern. That's what I thought.
we didn't know what we were.
And then he told us he
Yeah.
was from North Carolina, and
North Carolina.
I was like, no
Yeah, I definitely get
way.
that a lot.
There are Americans here in Africa. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, we had like a lot of Americans. Like I remember the hostel telling us that like that's the most Americans I've seen in like months. Like there's never that influx of Americans. So that was pretty cool for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, I would say the same. Like when we first met you, I thought you were really cool. And then we actually got to know you. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Wrong.
No, but honestly, like, I felt like we kind of like built up a little family, and we previously did the a episode on like speaking about South Africa and the friends we made there and all the like adventures that were had. So it's really cool that like we're actually having a person from that we talked about in the previous episode like come on to this episode now. Yeah, and kind of like share kind of like their viewpoint on the trip itself. But even jumping into like you traveling, like tell us little bit more about like your travel bug and like you making friends abroad.
So yeah, my travel bug initially I feel like started with my family because we used to have like hotel discounts. My dad used to work in a hotel. So any chance we got, my family would take my sister and I on a vacation. First country I've ever been to was aside from the US, was Canada. Since my dad's from Buffalo, super close to Niagara Falls, so we're there like every year. Um, but aside from that, I studied abroad in Italy for a semester, spring 2016, and that really just pushed me all the way in. Created that wanderlust travel bug for me, I've never looked back. So literally every year, I'm planning a new trip. Like I used to tell myself, every 2 years we'll go to a different country. Now it's like
Mhm.
at least one every year. Like I
Every
have to.
2 years. Every year sounds way more doable. I feel like 2 years, like that's crazy. You can't wait 2 years.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I go crazy.
No, but even in the States, I feel like I don't know, because I feel like whenever I go to another country, there's always like this idea of like Americans are everywhere. But over the past like I would say 2, 3 years, I started to realize like a lot of Americans don't even have passports, or maybe they don't even travel out the country as much as I thought they did. So I guess for you, like you said, like the thing that kind of started this traveling sense within you was like your family. But I think it's a really like I don't know, like an important thing that we do kind of have this thing. Like we can understand like the importance of traveling and have this enjoyment of it for sure.
Oh yeah.
So that wasn't a question, that was just rambling.
No, I think so. But I mean, just to add to that, I feel like it's really hard to get out of the United States if you don't have the money. It's really expensive to go anywhere. And I think that's something people don't realize. I don't want to give an excuse for why Americans don't travel as much. I think some of it is ignorance, but I also think like
Mm.
even just to get to South America, it's really expensive. And those are our neighbors.
And oh yeah, yes, that's true.
We're gonna say it's far.
I was gonna say it's far, it's
I mean,
far.
it's farther than if you're in Europe. I remember when I was living in London, it would be like $20. I mean, on a good day to fly to like Italy or somewhere I really wanted to go at like most, maybe like 100, 150. I mean, to get to like when I went to Guatemala, I think like $300 was cheap. So it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I was just talking to someone about that actually recently about how like us in the Americas, it's so we do have, North America, South America, and then Central. So we have those countries to go to. But the fact that if you're in Europe or Africa, Asia, you can easily just bounce around like around there. It's not, going from Europe to Asia might not be that $50 flight you're referring to from like in Europe. But aside from that, it is a lot easier, I feel like, when you're over there. But that's what I would literally tell any American, like, even if you don't have a trip planned in the next 6 months, just go ahead and get your passport because it could still take you 3 months to like the processing fees. So just that time that you're actually invited to go, your job tells you, hey, here's a free trip. You can take it because you're not like, oh, dang, I still need to get my passport. Number one tip.
The no passport thing, I think is crazy. Like I really don't understand. Like, so if you lose like your license or something and you need identification, like what else do you have? You need a passport. Like,
but I don't think it's as common as we think it is.
It's not.
I think we also come from backgrounds where like our family has like family outside, or like you're like maybe you have roots somewhere else. Like Ian, don't you have some like Italian in you or something? Is that it? Or the Irish? I forget.
Irish.
Yeah, Irish.
7% Irish.
I don't believe it. I don't think you're Irish. You should take a DNA test. I'm not buying it.
Oh, I did an ancestry DNA test maybe
You
like
did?
5 years ago. Yeah,
You're
I'm
lying.
Irish.
I'm lying.
I'm like maybe 1% or less than 1% Italian is what it said.
Okay.
I wish it was more, but
I just don't understand, but I guess it's possible.
Yeah. And then next, we want to know like what's your top 3 like favorite traveling stories and like why? Like what made them like wow.
Besides when you met us, you can leave that one out.
Of course.
We've talked
because we know that's number
an
1. So
yeah, you might have to give me another like 5 minutes because that was tip top of the brain. Let's see. I'll start off with just one from South Africa since that's fresh on my memory. Oh God, I would say it had to be doing the road trip when it was me, Brock, Antoine, and Matt.
So when I left.
Yeah, it was after that. Sorry. A lot happened. But it just had to do great time, great road trip, everything. It just had to do with our rental car. Like when I tell you that like what could go wrong went wrong. Like, but it was just looking back, it's hilarious. It might have cost us a little extra money because there was some damage and whatnot. But
damage.
Yeah.
What did you do to the car?
It's kind of top secret, but I will share some details. Just that it literally the bottom undercarriage of the car fell off. So there's that. That's someplace in the middle of South Africa, Lesotho, I think.
Sorry, it just fell off?
Yeah. But long story short, we had to pay a little extra for that. So, and I just now, 2 months later, finally, damn near almost 3 months later, finally, like got in contact with them, paid it off. Like $17 later of international calling charges. Biggest pain in the butt, but like I will remember it forever because it was just so many intricate parts to the story and just yeah, it was crazy. And plus, just using that car, driving through so many safaris, like we beat the shit out of the car. Sorry, I'm not sure if it's on here or anything, but
that's fine. My mom will bring it up later, but it's fine.
Sorry.
Did a rhino pull the bottom off? Like, I really believe it was an animal. An animal like messed up the car on the safari.
That would have been wild. By the time we saw a rhino, I think it was already off. So, not the rhino.
Wasn't the rhino.
I don't know. The second and third, like it's kind of hard to think about just from all the different adventures. My favorite thing to do in a different country is always to rent like a car, motorbike. Like in Costa Rica, we rented an ATV, and that was the best part. Like I just like to drive. I used to be a delivery driver back home, so like I just like being in control like that, I guess. So definitely had some good moments, just like the road trip of doing that. I don't know. I can't think of 2 other ones on the top of my head that would be like shocker factor. But not that it has to, but um hmm. There was a time in Thailand where my first couple of days there, my friend told me don't trust the tuk-tuk drivers. They'll
Mm.
they'll try to scam your ass. Sorry, I just did it again. Um
It's fine.
a little note right here.
The fans will love it. They love a rule breaker.
Hey. You know they say people who curse, they'll tell you how it is. Um
Who says that?
the people. Um
The people.
but yeah, that one time in Thailand, yeah, I got on the tuk-tuk. My friend was like, "Don't trust them. Like they're gonna scam you." I got on. I was looking like a dumb tourist walking to one of the temples, the biggest temple in Bangkok, and the dude was like, "Yeah, like we can go here, only for 40 baht." I'm like, "That's like a little less, a little more than $1." Like, are you sure? So I get on, go to the one spot that I actually want to go to, the Golden Buddha, and then he was immediately wanting to go to the next spot wherever they can make their money. And he dropped me off, or wanted to drop me off in the fashion district, and that's where they bring you in, want you to buy a suit. If you don't buy a suit, they're probably gonna rob you. So I'm just sitting there like I'm not leaving this tuk-tuk. He wanted to come in so bad, and I was like, no, no. And then he eventually just dropped me off by the river next to like one of the riverboat cruises to his associate, and then she proceeded to say, "Hey, here's a ride for 1,000 baht." I'm like, you can sleep on it." I'm like, "Yeah, so you can take my stuff." Um,
Oh,
but
goodness.
that one was not as exciting. I know I have plenty of other exciting stories. I just can't
Ian,
think.
that's your favorite traveling story? Almost getting ripped
That's not
off
my favorite
and
one.
dying
No,
in
it's
Thailand?
traumatizing. Everything's traumatizing. The car falling apart.
Why do you even travel? We just got trauma after trauma. The car fell apart. He almost had to buy a very expensive suit. He was almost robbed, left in the middle of nowhere. Like, Ian.
Yeah, same thing was happening in Barcelona. Here, that's my third one right there. Barcelona. Some dude tried to sell me salsa lessons, and I could feel his hand reaching into my pocket for my phone, but I caught him last minute.
I thought he was looking for something.
Oh no,
I was like, ooh, that's a little spicy.
it's Barcelona.
Barcelona.
He thought you needed salsa lessons.
Apparently,
He looked at him. He was like,
You
this
don't know how to
one.
dance.
And I was like, clearly.
Ian, you gotta get it together. We can't be losing you out on another trip abroad.
Oh yeah, I'll be lost. Those who wonder, or those who are, what is it? What's the quote?
You have a lot of sayings.
I feel like you're making up all of these quotes.
Those who wonder are not lost.
Those who
That
wander
sounds
are
like
not.
something.
Those who wander are not lost.
Are not lost. That sounds like something.
I feel like
That
you're
sounds like something
lost.
Dr. Seuss would have said or something.
I'm always lost, but I'm always found as well. No, my mom actually got me something for Christmas. One of my favorite gifts. She took a picture of the sun that's outside of the hostel I stayed at in Joburg. It actually does say that not all that wander are lost.
Yeah.
She printed it out and put it on the canvas. And that's like I least expected it. I was like, if anyone tries to talk to me right now, I'm gonna sound so emotional, I might shed a tear because I was like, that's the best Christmas gift I gotten.
Aw,
You know?
Oh, your mom got that for you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so sweet.
he's such a simple man.
Oh yeah, simple man. That's all I need.
Okay, simple man. We are transitioning something hopefully more positive. We want to know about what it's like raising plants for a living. You know, I don't have a green thumb. I have no interest in having one, but Chanel over here, she also has 0 green thumbs, but she would really like to acquire one. So Chanel has quite a few questions for you about plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, shoot them at me because I know you sent me that one picture and that thing was dead.
Oh yeah, I know. I still have it here actually. Let me see.
Okay, so Chanel has a plant. I'm going to explain to the listener. She has a plant.
This is
It's starting to grow
outdated.
now. I think you rehabilitated it. Ian says his face says no. But when she had sent him a photo of this plant, wasn't it like brown?
It was
It,
yeah.
it was brown, but I cut off all the leaves.
So
Was
she
that what
cut
I was
off all
supposed-
the leaves.
That's good.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it looks a lot better because I told you just to chuck that thing.
Yeah, but I
It's
want to bring
looking
it back to
green.
life.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's putting out some new growth, you should be good. It might take a little time. Patience is key. Patience is key.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
This
Okay.
is why I don't do plants. I have no patience.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that I might have mold growing in my room. So we can
Yeah.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the moss wall I wanted.
Hmm.
Does mold
Yeah.
count as a plant?
This what?
Is mold a plant?
It's a fungi.
So not a plant.
Not
Mm,
a plant.
no, that's like a different genus.
That's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, so first, how did you start getting to know about plants? Yeah, let's start with there. How did you start getting to know about plants? How did you become a plant zaddy?
Plant Daddy over here. I actually got the Plant House merch on.
Yes, I see
now.
it.
I noticed that before. I was like, wow, he's on brand.
That's the head marketing guy right there.
Yeah, yeah. I actually just came from the office, so that's why I was like, let me just kind of be festive. So before Plant House, I was not a plant guy whatsoever. Like I had my occasional succulent, no cacti, because those things are pricks. We have some effects for that.
Now he's telling us how to do our job. Get this man out of here.
Like, bush.
But no, yeah. So I applied as a part-time job. I was working in my current full-time time job at the time. That was a lot of time. I said a lot of time at that time. Anywho, so yeah, I applied for that job just to work like maybe 10, 15 hours a week. And yeah, it actually became a full-time job. Full disclosure, got fired from the last one. I'm so much happier now. This is my favorite job by far in my entire life. So jumped right in. Had no idea how to take care of any plants. Like I didn't know you only water succulents and cacti once a month. So I was probably killing my said succulents that I had before. So yeah, within the first 3 months, you kind of start learning about all the different types of plants in the store because we have so many different like tropical houseplants, from alocasias, calatheas, your ZZ plants. This was a damaged one that I took home for free. Pot as well. So if you ever need any hookups, let me know. But yeah, so just over time, you just start learning about plants. I will say the first like month, I was like getting customers asking me questions, and I'd be like, give me 1 second. I'd run back to my manager. I'd be like, so I have no idea how often you water this, how often it needs light, this, and that. What I've learned, a lot of plants are the same. They're essentially the same, but then you can't tell people that because once you take them home, they're not the same. It depends on your environment. It depends on like how much light, humidity, all that it is that you're getting. It also depends on the plant owner, just if they can be disciplined enough and not overwater it, not forget about their plant and stuff like that. So that's like the start of my plant journey. Still kind of going on it, but I'm so much more knowledgeable about plants now than I was a year ago. I'll say that.
I love that because if it had been me, I would have lied to them. I would have just started making things up on the spot. I would have been like, this plant needs a hug every 2 hours. This plant likes a little whiskey every now and then. I would have been real crazy.
So you're not wrong on that part. It's kind of funny too because whenever we had the succulents in the terrariums that we make, they're like, "How much water do you give it?" I'm like, "Just a shot glass per week." It doesn't like tequila though, just water.
That's a good joke.
Funny because I got my mom these plants. No, it was like a flowers, and I read that the best way to keep flowers alive for a long period of time is to give it shots, like give it a little bit of vodka, and then a little
Where
bit of
did you
sugar.
read this?
Pinterest.
Oh God.
You read it on Pinterest?
Yes, and I have to tell you, the plant stayed alive for at least a month.
You gave it shots of vodka?
Yes, I think it really worked.
You wasted perfectly good vodka
Right.
on a plant?
Right. That's the point.
How many shots did you give it? Like every day?
No, just like one shot. Just one shot.
A week?
No, just one shot in general. You just got one shot of vodka.
Oh, so 2 shots.
So one shot of vodka and it was fine.
Yeah.
Well,
It's super interesting that you said that it's pretty much the same set of care for all the different plants. So what recommendations would you give to someone who's actually interested in introducing a plant into their space? How can they be a good plant daddy?
Or mommy.
Or mommy?
I would definitely say kind of go for the easier plants. Like in Plant House, we actually have three themed shows just for our customers' convenience. One is beginner friendly, the other one is pet friendly, and then we also have low light tolerant. A lot of low light tolerant ones are beginner friendly, so it works out because if you don't have a lot of sun in your house, you can put it in like a shady spot. Low light does not mean no light. People get that confused all the time. If your plant's not getting any light, it's not going to grow. It's going to die because photosynthesis. We learned about that. Plant cells and stuff like that. What's the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell?
Oh, so the plant cells are
Mitochondria.
more rectangular, and the human cells are like more. The animal cells like more like circular.
I think you're right, but
And
I
the
think
nucleus. What about the nucleus?
they're
No?
basically the same, but I think plants have a cell wall.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah. That's why it's more rectangular. That's why it's like more like frigid.
I hate
Yeah,
science.
I love science, if you can't tell.
I think
Oh
people.
gosh. I remember like in elementary school, I think we learned this, or maybe it was middle school, and we had like an exam and we had to memorize all the parts of the plant. And I remember now that you said the wall, I remember I had to like draw it and I had to label it.
Oh yeah,
Trauma. It's where my
that was
trauma
seventh
began.
grade. That was seventh grade for me. I think I remember two different sheets, diagrams. You just yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's basically what you need. The easiest plants are ZZ plants, like the one I just showed. Super easy. It's getting a lot of sun, so hopefully it grows faster now for me. And then snake plants, which a lot of people are familiar with. Also
Yeah.
called mother-in-law's tongue, for the pointiness. Um, those are super simple. We always joke and tell customers, you could throw those in a closet for 2 months, it'd be fine. No water, no light. Obviously, I just said it needs light, but that's just to show on scale how resilient and kill-proof these are. So if you kill a ZZ plant, we gotta talk. You might just not need to be in the plant world because they are so easy. You water them like once a month. Super. You can literally forget about it. It's like a cat. I mean, don't forget about your cat. You want to feed your cat and water your
In
cat.
the
Not water.
closet with no
Don't
food.
water your cat. Yeah,
the
don't
cat
put your cat in the
closet.
closet.
For 2 months.
Right. See if it's still there. But yeah, so it's not obviously not the same as a cat, but it's like how you can just leave your cat to be. That's what you can do with the snake plant. But literally any pothos, philodendrons, super easy. As I said, they are the same, but you could have two of the same exact plants in your house. One is on your first floor in your office. Second one's literally directly above it on your second floor. One could be doing a lot better than the other one. Could be you could have bought it at the same exact time, same exact place, watering it the same way. It doesn't mean that it's going to have the same care instructions because that one upstairs might be getting more light than the other one downstairs. It could be next to an air vent. Air vents really can be brutal on your plants. I actually have some that are a vent underneath one plant. You can just see the hot air just flapping the leaves, and leaves are dying off. So you don't want to do that, and you don't want to put it so close to the window. Here in North Carolina, it's not an issue with the cold, but up in New York, you probably want to put your plant next to the window just because how cold it might get, and it could really affect it for sure. So yeah, really, placement is the big thing. Just like a business, location, location, location.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was gonna ask about the do's and don'ts of having a plant or being a plant parent, but I feel like you kind of ran through most of them already. Do you think there's anything else that we should know? Actually, I have another question. So you talked about lighting, because I know we must talk about like sunlight, but does having like a regular light, is that okay for plants, or do we need like the LED lights?
Gotcha. Perfect question because people always come into our store and see like the LED strips we have. Like, is that giving its light? And we're like, no, not at all. That's just for show. We could turn the lights off; they'd be fine. Now you can buy grow lights on Amazon or go to like even Walmart sells them. Those do perfect. But like your fluorescent lighting in your house doesn't really do anything. It might fool it a little bit, but like it's really not going to grow because it really needs the UV rays from the sun.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then there's different types of light. I'm glad you asked that about that because I forgot about light. There's either direct sunlight and indirect sunlight. Sometimes when I say indirect, people think I'm saying indirect sunlight, but two different things. So your cacti, your succulents, stuff like that, the super like deserty kind of plants, they want that direct sunlight. They want at least 5 to 6 hours of sunlight a day. And then for those, you're going to water at least once a month. If you're getting a lot of light, maybe 3 weeks. Just as if it dries it out a lot more, go ahead and water it. But then you have plants, which are most of your plants are bright indirect sunlight. So a good way of thinking about this is you can see the sun, but the sun can't see you. Like right now, I'm getting indirect light on me
Yeah.
because it's coming through the window, but I can't. I can see the light from the sun, but the sun can't literally beam down on my forehead and give me a sunburn right now. You know?
Yeah.
So that's the difference between the lighting. Never put your plants in direct sunlight unless it's that cacti, succulent, maybe even a Hoya and a banana tree. Everything else, you're gonna fry it. Yeah. So I wouldn't do that.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was so complicated to have a plant. I feel like, especially when you hit your mid to late 20s, I feel like all of a sudden they start becoming plant people. Like, is this a precursor to having a baby? Like, are we gearing ourselves up to this? Like, is it plant, pet, baby? Like, is
That's
this
exactly what it is.
is that
Exactly.
the ordinary sequence of events?
That's my order. Like literally, I had somebody when we were in South Africa. I had somebody come to my house at least 2 times, maybe three. One of my coworkers, Georgia, and water my plants because if I didn't, I would have come back to a disaster. Everything would have been probably dead. Which I will say, number one rule: it's better to over or underwater your plants instead of overwater your plants. Because if you overwater, you could rot it and there's no coming back. But underwater, you might lose some leaves and stuff like that. But it'll bounce back. Are you looking at a plant above you that's dying?
Yeah.
How many do you have in there?
I have 2 so far.
Okay, what do you got?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh. I don't know the names of them.
Can you describe
I mean,
the plant?
they have names. This is Shelby.
Oh, so it's those two. Oh, okay.
Can you tell what plant this was?
It doesn't even look like a plant. It just looks like stalks of like string bean. I don't know.
It was beautiful. I had it for a whole year, but then I put it in direct sunlight for 2 days and it got completely fried.
Oh yeah.
Completely fried. So I've been just like watering it like constantly, but now it's turning a little bit like brown, like yellow and brown. So I don't know. And then there's this plant. Maybe this one still has a sticker on it. This one is a Clusia rosea. Oh, sorry. Here's the name.
It's
That looks like the one that I have a little bit, but
Yeah.
the color. But yeah, that one looks like it should be.
It's okay, but this one also got a little bit fried. So most of the leaves that turned like super, super brown just fell off. And then I don't know, you could like see sorry, the background of it. Like some of the plants are like still brown.
Gotcha. It
But
doesn't look too.
Yeah, sorry, what are you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, keep doing what you're doing. I'd water that. It looks like it should be watered like every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
In bright indirect sunlight, I would say for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was away for 3 weeks when I was in New York. So what I've been doing is like filling the tub up with water and then putting some sugar inside there. And then I would just leave it alone and have it water itself.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, bottom watering is definitely a good technique for your plants because it just takes what it wants. You don't have to. Then it's not your fault if it drinks too much. That's on them.
It's like a cat.
Yeah, just like a cat.
Ian, what are your thoughts on Venus flytraps?
Oh, fun fact. They're actually native to Wilmington, North Carolina, right down the road.
No.
Yeah.
People, I did not know this. This is completely unplanned.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that either until we used to have carnivorous workshops at Plant House. And so I've taught 2 of them. So I know a lot about carnivorous plants, which Venus flytrap being one of them. I've never owned one. I don't really care for them because they are also a lot of care or a lot of trouble because they need distilled water. You water them with distilled water. Most of your plants would prefer that. There are other plants like calatheas, alocasias, those really delicate leaves that prefer distilled water because you city tap water will absolutely destroy it. Um, but yeah, Venus flytraps, they're pretty cool. Every time I think of it, I think of that episode of That's So Raven, with a big giant one like grabs her.
Yeah.
I actually put that in a reel for one of our carnivorous workshops. I made the reel for the store, and I put that at the end. It was a little cheesy, but if you know me, you know I'm cheesy. Cheesy and corny. Cheese and corn. Um, sorry, I'm going too far.
Stop apologizing, Ian. Own it.
I am cheesy and I'm corny. Corny. What's I saying? Oh yeah. So Venus flytraps, they're pretty cool. They do trap a lot of like your gnats. So if you have a lot of gnats in your house,
Yeah.
super easy to do that. Put them around. There's also trumpet plants and pitcher plants. Do the same thing, same exact process. Those little like openings at the traps, if you will, actually have a sticky, watery substance in there, and that's what attracts those flies. Once those traps shut, it won't open. It'll die off, but then it'll grow a new one. So they are a little different. You have to be super patient with them because they are slow growers, and they do die off but come back.
So let us know your top 3 favorite plants and why.
I was ready for this question actually. So I used to really love calatheas, but they are a pain right in the butt. We literally put a sign in front of them saying, like, one time it said "good luck,"
Oh
because you
my.
could either be a calathea person or not. I used to be, but that's why it dropped down from my top position because they are such hard plants to take care of. They need humidity. Like they prefer, that discounted humidifier you got, Emery. They would prefer that next to them all day, every day, 24/7, 365. They need all the humidity they can get. They take a shower every day if they could, every second. But yeah, my top 3 plants. Alocasias, number 1. I call myself the alocasia daddy at work. My coworkers might not like it, but it is what it is. It's gonna be alloc.
Okay.
No.
Corny. It's corny.
He was waiting for that moment. I saw it in his face.
I was thinking it I was like, wordplay. You know what's funny though? The first time I started working at Plant House and I heard the name alocasia, I immediately thought about alopecia.
I can see that. I can see
I
that.
can see that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not related, are they?
No, I don't think so. I think one's just a disease or like a thing, and another one's a plant.
Do the plants
Are they
have
cousins?
alopecia?
Are they cousins or something?
Could you imagine?
That would be crazy. I mean, the plant is super toxic. It could kill an animal, so maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
The toxic plant. We love a Wait, so you like toxic plants?
That was the number 1.
That was his number 1.
There was a toxic plant.
Okay. I don't like it because it's toxic. I like it because they grow super fast. Because they like kind of bird's nest out, so they kind of start shooting out each other's stems. And they like distilled water. And I think people don't like to buy those because once you say like, hey, you're actually gonna need distilled water for that, even though it's 89 cents at your local grocery store. People still just kind of like, that's too much work for me, which I understand. But if you're like those people who know that distilled water is preferred for basically all your plants, they just keep it on deck. I like it for that simple fact that it's different. It's completely different. It is an extra step above of your pothos. You just water every 2 weeks and just it tells you when it needs to be watered. These you actually got to take your time, just like monitor it, water with that distilled water. The ones I have right now, I haven't been because I used to be outside and I was just chuck water and like if I'm throwing water outside, I can't get that back, so that's kind of a waste of money. So if you're on a budget, budget friendly, just use tap water. It's not going to kill your plant, but if you want a beautiful green leaf, use distilled. But that's really why I like allocations.
Yeah. Question. What about rainwater?
Perfect. That's definitely perfect. Distilled water is just humankind's rainwater, essentially.
Okay. So if I collect rainwater, I can use that for plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would
Are you
love that
thinking
so much
about
better.
Are you thinking about collecting rainwater?
Yeah, it's like it's right there.
Right on that balcony outside.
Yeah, exactly.
No, rainwater is actually all your plants would like that. We have air plants too. Have you guys heard of air plants before?
Is a snake plant an air plant? Like those plants that does like ventilation and stuff?
Um, I want to say yes. I know I can't think of the actual term of what air plants are. It's the type of
Mm.
plant family, and there are other plants that fit in that. Air plants are like little tiny green ones, about like that big when they start off. They don't have roots. They don't need soil. They just kind of
Mm.
on whatever, and they just take bacteria from the air as well as the water. So it actually likes, it's weird, but it loves dirty water. So like if you have a dog or a cat at home, you just pick up their water bowl, soak it
Yeah.
for like 15 minutes once a week and put it back, refresh the water so your dog's not drinking dirty plant water. But yeah, they love that type of stuff. So even rainwater, just water that's sitting out collecting bacteria, that's what they
Mm.
love. And then kind of to piggyback off what you said, but for like the purification or like for of those plants, um, we do have people come in and ask, "Hey, what's your best like air purifying plant?" Uh, we usually do say snake plants because they are known for that, and spider plants as well. But all plants do it. Just like like our trees recycle out carbon dioxide and put out oxygen. All
Yeah.
plants. There are just some that are more known for doing it.
Mm.
I have a
Okay.
question actually. So I have a friend and her house looks like a jungle. She has
Mhm.
so many plants, and I feel like the plants are supposed to be good for the air. But I feel like when I'm in there, I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like it's so like I don't know. I feel like
Suffocating.
there's no air.
Hmm.
Is that
I
normal?
wonder. I don't know because I don't feel like that at work, but more so at work, I'm usually like sneezing because all the dust in the air, my allergies start acting up. But I don't know. I feel like I could see, is it a small space?
It's small. Yeah.
So it probably just is that, and maybe it's just like not cluttered. 'Cause I feel like you can't clutter with plants, but it's
Yeah.
like just so much, just all you see. So maybe it's just kind of like, dang, I can't like properly feel like I'm able to move around freely.
Yeah.
But it could also be your allergies. If you have any allergies, maybe like your lungs are affected by some of like the pollen that it's putting off
Oh no,
in
that's
such a
true.
small space.
Maybe
So
I'm allergic to plants.
that would suck.
It would be unfortunate. Okay, what's your second favorite plant?
Oi. Hmm, good question.
Mm. I guess as like
I
a plant dad, it's hard to choose your favorites.
Yeah, there's just so many
You're not
because
supposed to
there's
have favorites.
true, but I do. Um, for the second one, it's just kind of hard because there's so many. Like we probably have 15 different types of philodendrons at the store, just like we have like 5 different types of pothos, however you say it. Um, I do love monsteras. Everyone really knows that's the leaf that like looks like that everyone like you see everywhere. People talking about
Mm.
plants. Um, I would say that's probably my second one, only because of what it looks like. I do not like taking care of it because it just starts shooting off random ones in the middle of it. It just looks like a bunch of weeds, um,
Mm.
which a lot of philodendrons, in my opinion, do. And you just gotta pick like the most beautiful ones. So I will say my second is Monstera, and my third would probably be um, mm, the philodendron lemon lime.
Mm.
Called Sprite, but it's like a philodendron that's just super bright, like neon green. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The one I have it for a year now, and it's doubled in height. I need to repot it. But yeah. But other than that, like I really don't have any other favorites other than the allocations. Like that's number one, and two and beyond fluctuates.
Yeah. Okay. And tell us about your a story about the time you killed a plant.
I also want to know about the experience of killing a plant. Is it really, like when they say kill your babies? I mean, no, wait. You know, like, there's no, Chanel, you know what I'm talking about. Don't look at me like that. You know, when you have a bunch of ideas and like you're really
Yeah,
attached to them. This is a saying when we were in college. They'd be like, you have to
thank
kill your
you.
babies and you have to like get rid of some of the ideas. So, it's kind of depressing when you have to do that. And so I'm wondering, like, when you kill a plant, do you cry?
I have not. I know if I know some of my coworkers probably have. And plus, if you've had a plant for like 3 years and just something, I mean, some plants do have lifespans. I'll tell you that. So
Really?
it's not just yeah, it's not gonna live forever. Some plants you can do really well, and it's just not gonna live forever because it's had its time. Not as it's most plants will keep going, as long as you do your thing. But yeah, there's if I had a plant that was 3 years old and that was my baby, and
Mhm.
it just like and I accidentally forgot to water it, or it got like, oh, if it gets insects, pests, that's more sad than it dying, because it's like out of your control, because you can clean as much as you want. It just depends on what pest it is. It might
Yeah.
not, it could be terminal. So if you like your plant gets a terminal disease, like a fungus or something like that, you can't, it kind of sucks. It's like, dang, if I had it for 3 years and then your plant dies, it is like losing something because you see it every day. You're used to tending to it every couple weeks. Um,
Yeah.
you've seen it grow like an animal or like a baby. Like so it's more so like I don't think I ever cried, but I'd be really upset myself if it was by me, like by me causing the death. I haven't really killed any plants recently. Um, well, that's a lie. Uh, I didn't purposely kill any plants. I actually, I'll tell you this: since coming back from South Africa, I'm not sure if it's just been a renowned like urge to do well with my plants. Because when you work at the shop and you're around plants every day, watering, caring for them, you get home and you're really like, I don't even want to look at another plant right now. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I want you to do well, but I don't care if you look like you're half dead right now. Like you need a little haircut and everything. Yes, yes. So yeah, when I got back from South Africa, it was everything was doing well, and I don't know if my coworker just sprinkled her magic because she's like the plant queen doctor at the shop, so she just
Mhm.
knows everything. Like our managers even go to her for extra advice. Um, but yeah, so I didn't kill anything since then in the last 3 months. Everything's been fine. What I have done is ditch the dead plants that I've had sitting around my house.
Mm.
And I'll tell you this, getting rid of them just kind of refreshed the whole vibe. It felt lively in here because I'm not just seeing like a dead like spine over here. That sounded really weird, but a plant spine that is. Uh, but yeah, once I got rid of those, it was fine. But before that, I would say the only time I've actually killed a plant was either overwatering it. I
Mhm.
brutally murdered my friend's math cane. I was plant sitting. Oh, actually,
You were plant sitting and you killed it.
perfect story. So all summer last year, my friend was moving. He was in PT school, so he was moved from apartments, went back home until he officially had his job back down here, so he can actually move into a full-time residence. I was watching about 7 different plants. I don't think he got one back.
No.
You killed
No.
all of them. How long were you supposed to watch them for? A month?
It was, yeah, honestly, just whenever he went to his parents up in New York, because he's like from an hour outside north of the city, Montgomery, if you know where that is.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I was gonna watch it for maybe 2 weeks, and then they were just doing so well because it was the middle of like humid, hot North Carolina summer. So they're on my porch. They were loving it. Like, I even had two of my plants out there, and I brought them in before the frost, the winter, the fall. Um, and yeah, they were doing well. So I was like, he never asked for them, and I was like, you can take them anytime, but they're chilling, they're loving it. And then I brought them inside because it just something was wrong. Maybe that was last year's frost too. So I didn't bring
Yeah.
them. This was like 2021 that I was watching them. No, 2022 I was watching them. So before I even got into Plant House, even worked there, so I didn't know any better. But yeah, definitely, because it was around Christmas time. One plant was deceased because I had the Christmas tree in front of it, blocking any bit of light that it possibly could get. And this one was beautiful. It was a mother because three of the other plants were propagates from her. Killed
Yeah.
all those because
Killed the
one
whole
plant.
family.
I killed a whole family of plants. I literally brought in a free plant from the store that I think some random dude dropped off. He dropped off a whole like load of plants. and I took one. Pretty sure that one was infested with mealybugs, and it just, which are super easy to transfer, and it went to all his plants. It went to these two like bamboos that he had. He got them for like $10 from Lowe's. It's something me feel bad because I'm watching them. I tried my best. I was like, I can help him, bro. I can like. I just think of the alcohol, but then when I looked at the soil, it was infested. So yeah, it's two bamboo down.
It was a
3
massacre.
Yeah, and then the real massacre was the mass cane, that was flourishing so well. I couldn't help myself. It was flourishing so well, and then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened to it. Like, oh no, I know what happened to it. I was watering it too much. This is a one big no that people do, and I learned my lesson. If you have a nursery pot, but it's in a bigger pot, but you don't have the actual plant potted in the bigger pot, don't water it in with the nursery pot inside the pot, because what will happen, the water will just pool up at the bottom unless you dump it, and then it just sits in there and just keeps it basically just
rotting.
yeah, it starts rotting because it's being overwatered, and it's just like yeah, just sustaining water. So that's what happened to that one. He actually just sent me a text message the other day saying like last call, what the
Look at the
There's
weird.
a floating thumbs up on the screen.
don't know what that
I killed the plant.
that's no, this is the new MacBook, so I think it's something to do with that. I don't know. But yeah, so he sent me a picture recently and said, yeah, I think it's the last straw, man. And he dumped it out because it was rotted. It started with two canes.
Yeah.
One because it had no roots, but yeah, that would be the biggest massacre story, and I felt so bad because they weren't even my plants.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So next question. Have you ever used being a plant dad as a way to talk to girls?
Big transition.
Big transition, dang.
This is the build-up.
The build up, okay. I would
The answer is
say
yes.
like, what?
I already see it in his face. The answer is yes, but he's trying to make it sound better.
I am, but so not intentionally. I don't bring that up in conversation and whatnot. But I will say, I have plant pictures from Plant House on Tinder,
I
on
knew it.
Hinge, on Bumble, and obviously it says I work there too. Every single question I get is, "Can you help me with my plants? Oh, I need a plant daddy in my life." Like, and I'm just like, there's just too many requests because I feel like half the time I just want plant help, which I'm totally down to give plant help to anyone that needs it. But no, I have not directly approached somebody and try to like give her the smooth pickup line that, hey, I work with plants. Like I could be your daddy if you got plants. It's not, I don't know, some weird shit.
You
But,
thought of that too quickly for it to not be true.
what?
You thought of that pickup line way too quickly for you to not have used it before.
I'm just witty like that.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's definitely a good talking point with anybody. I'll say that. Mainly with women, but yeah, everyone loves plants. So
Okay. Well, that's pretty much all the questions we have for you. But I don't know, was there anything else that you would have like to talk about or that you want the people to know?
let's see. Like I said before, with plants, just be patient.
Mm,
You could literally move your plant, repot it, do anything with it. It's gonna shock it. So it might look like crap for next week. Don't throw it out. It's probably not dead. Just be patient. You gotta water it. It's gonna bounce back. They're just like us. We have our moments. Might be depressed one week, and then we just need something like a little pick me up, and we bounce right back to our usual self. Same thing with plants. Just let it be. Literally, don't yell at your plants either. What they say about like your plants have feelings, they do.
yeah.
Like if you're over here talking crap to it, it's gonna probably feel like sad and look sad. So be nice to it. I literally, when I walk around and I see a new baby popping out, I start looking at it. I'm like, oh my god, look at the little babies! It's like, and it just so makes me such a plant parent. But yeah, just patience. If you ever have any questions, hit up your local plant house across the East Coast. We are actually franchising now. So if you guys are interested in, did it again. If you guys are interested in franchising, please go to planthouse.us. And yeah. And you could honestly hit up any plant house, any specifically Plant House Charlotte. Like for me, text us. We accept anyone's text pictures from all over the country, and we can give you guys some advice and help with your plants if we're not close enough to you. But yeah, always here to help. You can even at me on Instagram at Pirate Flynn, and I'll
Okay,
be here to give you some advice for sure.
Okay, amazing. I was gonna ask for you to put your handles, but you already got it.
Oh
He
yeah.
put it down pat. He knew what he came for.
Oh
Exactly. Okay, and to end off the episode, we usually ask our guests to give us the first thing that comes to their mind, which is the last thing they want to leave the listeners with. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath and
Spread love all 2024. 2024 is for more. Yeah, just tell your friends you love them, hug them every time you see them. That's what love's all about. That's what friendship's all about. That's what life's all about. That's my hot take.
I want that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
I'll make them later for you.
Thank you. I want a bumper sticker and it's got to have plants on it. I want plant house branding.
Okay. Got you. I might get in trouble for that, but
They can have a portion of the proceeds, whatever you sell it for. 15% goes to Plant House.
we are trying to get into podcast advertising, so
Oh, is that
Okay,
so?
nice. This is the beginning. This is
Only
the
the
beginning.
beginning.
yes.
The recording has stopped.